Alright, we've already done the bind process for the 3GX MRS unit here. So we've done the model selection and we've also done the bind process. What I want to do now is show you how to do the basic setup for the 250 model here, the T-Rex 250. So what we're going to do is we're going to power up. I'm going to hold down this, depress this button here, power up. And you'll have model select, model type. In this case, we want to select model type. Select model type, select helicopter. Data will be reset. No for this case. We're going to back out of that, model type helicopter. And then we're going to go down to swash type. Swash type, you'll note that I'm using one servo normal. In Futaba, radio systems, it's also known as H1. This is what you want to use for utilizing the 3GX MRS system. Alright, so that's the correct setup for this particular swash type system. If we were to change this to 3 servos CCPM type setup, this would create a problem. So we don't want to have it set up this way. We want to have it with one servo normal and our setup for our swash type within the DX8 Spektrum radio system here. So that's going to work in conjunction with the 3GX MRS. Alright, now that we've done that, we've basically done what we need to do to configure the swash type. So now we'll go on to the actual programming. In servo setup, throttle, I have 100-100, ailerons 100-100, elevators 100-100, rudders 100-100 here. Gyro we have at 100-100, and on pitch I have it at 62. And so I've set that. So, you just advance the throttle or your pitch to move it side to side for that. Okay, so we have 62% in our pitch menu there. And everything else is at 100%. So that's the only thing that's different there. Now we're going to look at dual rates. As suggested in the manual, we do recommend a small amount of expo. Depending on your preference, you need to set that up. For the default settings, we're going to go ahead and use 30% for elevator and aileron. So I'm going to put that at 30%. And we'll go up to aileron, we'll move that to elevator. And we'll move this to 30%. Again, you can find this in your manual as well. So, but for elevator and aileron, they have 30%. Rudder, the recommended setting is 0. So make sure yours reads 0. Again, this is all personal preference as far as the feel off center of the stick. That's what your expo is controlling, how it feels in the center of the movement here. So the more expo you have, the softer it'll feel, or more input you'll have to utilize when you're just getting started. So that's something you'll need to know, and just some basic information there for you for when you're setting up. Okay, so now that we've done that, we've basically set up our dual rates. Okay, on these switches here, you'll see, we'll go back to aileron. I might be able to turn that off, on and off. So you can actually in flight feel the difference if you choose to feel 0 expo or 30% expo. Again though, we recommend that you utilize expo when you're just learning, just so it has a softer feel around center. Okay, so that's what you have for both aileron and elevator set up on your dual rates. Now, what we need to do is we'll need to go to our throttle curve. And our throttle curve, in normal, we're going to use the default numbers, and this is how you would enter them. Let's make sure you can see that there. So for your lowest point, obviously that's 0. Your second point is going to be, per the manual, 42%. Your third point or 50 point there will be 65. And then you're going to go to the next one, which is a 75 point here, or P4 per the manual, and that's 78%. And the high is set at 100%. This is the settings you'll find in your manual on page 29. Okay, so if you're going to set up idle up and you have the ability to fly some sport type aerobatics, you'll want to set up your idle up 1. So let's do that. I'm going to go to idle up 1, and I'm going to set it at 90% straight across. Again, you can adjust this to your liking. This is, again, set it up for stunt 3D type aerobatics. And then we're going to set this at 90. You notice it's a straight line. This is electric. You'll want this. If you put a curve in here, I'll show you what I mean here graphically. If I put a dip here in the curve like this, hopefully you can see that clearly. What's going to happen is you go through the center when you're doing flips, tumbles, things like this. You're going to notice the tail will kind of move on you, and the reason is because you've decreased the power. And in electric, what you want to do is try and keep this line as smooth as possible so that your gyro performance is at its best. So I'm setting this up for my idle 1 at 90%. And then again, this can be found on page 29 of your idle up throttle. Now let's look at pitch. Your pitch in normal has a soft rake here, but let me show you. In the manual it shows at the lowest point here, we recommend 44 on your first point. Your second point, or point 2, will be 52. Your third point, or 50% point in your radio, will be 74. And at 75%, you use 84. Okay, again, this is for normal. And for your last P5 or 100% high pitch point, you're going to utilize 93%. Okay, this is the stock setting as included with your manual. What it's going to do is make the pitch seem very smooth and soft as far as when you're actually moving the position, but very positive. Alright, in idle up 1, you'll notice that the curve is linear in pitch. It's basically a straight line. You have low at 0, 25 at 25, 50 at 50, 75 at 75, and high at 100%. Okay, it's a straight linear line, and this again is going to give you a linear feel. You'll feel the full measure of pitch that is allotted to your flybarless system via your radio. So your pitch in the ATV menu and your pitch in this curve here will enable you to adjust the pitch to your liking. But right now, as we recommend, straight linear line, and then you're running that flat 90 on throttle. It's going to give you a lot of ability to do aerobatics with your helicopter, and have a very successful means of flight. So again, you want it to be linear when you're flipping upside down, right side up, in order so that you have the same feel both right side up and upside down. And as you progress in your inverted flight, this has become very important. So this is the general settings here for that. As far as your gyro menu, we'll go ahead and take a look at what we have on gyro. And in normal, we have 50%. You can again adjust this depending on what you're doing. The recommended head speed or setting on gyro is 40%. So let's go ahead and adjust that. Put 40%. Okay, stunt 1. Stunt 2, if you're running a stunt 2, again, I'll go ahead and put that at 40% there. And hold. I'll do the same. Alright, so using 40% for my gyro menu, and in the ATVs, I've left that alone, and that is set at 100% when we were going through the actual servo screen. So 40% is controlled by the gyro menu. You set up the gyro, you're working. And as far as any other additional settings, the only thing you want to do is check your pitch. The pitch for normal operation in hover is about 5 degrees, and your top pitch in normal with the settings that we've already applied should be about 11 degrees. Make sure you use a pitch gauge to check that, but again, you're hovering, it'll probably be at about 5 degrees for hover, and full pitch it should be about 11 degrees. Okay, when you run your idle up, what you want to do is have 11 degrees on top, 11 degrees on the bottom. That's for idle up only. So when you're getting started, make sure you don't have your curve as a linear line in your pitch menu. Again, I'll go back to the pitch curve here so you can see that in normal, you'll notice that this line is at 44% at its lowest point. And that's so that way when you're on the ground and when you land, it's very soft. It's not gonna put a large amount of negative pitch into your helicopter, and that's when you're first getting started. You don't want to have a lot of pitch for normal flight. So again, this is the reason for these numbers here, and we think this will get you flying your helicopter successfully and having a good time. If you have any further questions as far as the general setup, again, this is utilizing the DX8 radio system, please let me know. My name's Jeff Fassbinder, and you can reach me at Jeff, that's Jeff, at AlignRCUSA.com. Or if you'd like to see the manual and just peruse that online, you can do that at www.align.com.tw. Again, my name's Jeff Fassbinder. Thank you for watching, and we hope that this gets you in the air quickly. Thank you so much.